What's up, everyone? It's Bones here. With the Fire King structure deck just around the corner, I wanted to take a deeper look at the Tri-Brigade variant. I've been seeing it around, and it turned out much better than I was really expecting. Anyways, before I begin, if you're a fan of in-depth combo videos, new set coverage, and fun stuff that we occasionally like to do on the channel, then bring the hammer down on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons. Now, the first combo that we have here will be the Diabellstar plus Kit, and this can be the wanted quick play as well, but you do specifically want Kit, and we're going to pitch the Kit for the Diabellstar. The Impermanence is really just a card for your Bearbrum to put back into the deck, so it can be any other card, and we're going to get ourselves the original Sinful Spoils, use the effect of Kit as Chainlink 1, which will end up sending the Nerval. We can then use the Nerval's effect in order to get ourselves the Keras, and then we're going to use the original Sinful Spoils to send off the Diabellstar so that we can get our Ponic. And now we're going to use the effect of Ponics, which will give us the ability to add the Sanctuary to hand, use the effect of Sanctuary, which will get us the Fire King Island, use the effect of Island, which will pop the Ponic, and now we can get ourselves the Garunix. We'll continue to special summon the Garunix off of its effect as we pop the Ponics, and then we'll be able to send or destroy the Barong from deck so that we can get the search during the next standby phase, as we're then going to use the Keras upon normal summon, banish 2 as we'll be able to link summon into the Bearbrum, and then we'll go into our Rugal because we need the link pointer so that we can use the Revolt that we're going to add to hand now, and then we'll be able to send the Revolt. We can then go on to the standby phase where we'll be able to use the effects of Barong along with the Ponics, and this will give us the Kirin along with the Ponics in hand so that we have access into the rank 8 interruption, and then we also have the Revolt as we do have the link pointer available via Rugal. And this is really what you'll be going for the majority of your games, and you'll see that it's actually not too hard to do, and there's a lot of ways to do it. So for this second combo, similarly to the first one, you'll see that we have 1-for-1 that will end up pitching the Kit, and this is just another way to get you into the Ponics along with the Tri-Brigade engine. 1-for-1 is a card at 1, but I felt it was still worth showing because it's just another consistency card that the deck has that can really make things go when you do have your Kit, or depending on what you have in your graveyard. Nerval can also work as well, but we'll be able to pop the Ponics off of the Fire King Island, use the effect of Garunix as we'll be able to special summon it, use the effect in order to destroy Barong from deck, normal summon the Keras much like the previous combo, as we'll be able to bring out the Bearbrum, go into our Rugal, then use the effect of Bearbrum, we'll put back the Imperm into the deck. Now for this third combo, and this one is a little bit different than the previous two, it requires Fire Formation Tenki, the Ponics, and any discard for Keras. So we're going to end up normal summoning the Ponics, use the effect of the Ponics, and you want to get through the Fire King stuff first, because since you have that extra Beast Warrior in hand, special summon out the Keras as an extender in case your Ponics gets interrupted. So we'll add ourselves the Garunix, and then we'll be able to special summon it out, as we're going to then use its effect in order to destroy the Barong, use the Tenki in order to get the Fractal, and then we'll use the effect of Fractal, which will be able to send the Kit. Kit will then send the Nerval, as we'll then be able to use the Nerval effect, and then this will be how we get the Keras. We then use the effect of Keras, pitching the fodder for it that you have, and then we'll use the effect of Keras on field, as we're going to go straight into our Omen. And then we're going to go into the Bearbrum. We'll use the effect of Omen, which will net us a search for follow-up, which can be the Fractal. You can even get the Ponics, but we'll be able to then go into our Rugal, as we'll use the effect of the Bearbrum in order to get ourselves the Revolt. And now the cool thing about this is that you set the Revolt, go onto the standby phase where you can end up using the effect of the Ponics and the Barong, and because we now have access to the Kirin in order to destroy the Ponics in hand, you can get your rank 8 access via the Kirin's effect destroying the Ponics, triggering the Garunix that is in the graveyard, so that the Garunix in the graveyard can special summon itself, give you the 2 level 8 bodies, so that if your opponent happens to special summon a monster, you can immediately go into your Eternity Garunix. Now for this next combo, we have Garunix plus Tenki and Infinite Impermanence, and this is just another similar combo to the previous one, except this one has the Garunix in hand, and when you have the Garunix in hand, it's just a little bit easier to do it. So we're going to get ourselves the Fractal, we'll then use the effect of Kit, as we'll then be able to send the Nerval, then use the effect of Nerval, which will add us the Keras. The Keras can then pitch the Garunix, and this is kind of what I mean. Since the Garunix can activate in the hand or graveyard, it doesn't really matter if you pitch it, and the cool thing is that Revolt will also be able to special summon it back and put it into your graveyard as we go into the Bearbrum using the Omen and the Keras. Then we're going to add ourselves the Ponix, and then you can normal summon the Ponix, activate the Ponix effect in order to get yourself the Sanctuary, then activate the Sanctuary to get the Fire King Island. As you use the Fire King Island here, pop the Bearbrum, which will get you the Kirin, then the Bearbrum can activate its effect, which will get you the Revolt, put back the Imperm or whatever extra card, go on to the next turn, and now the cool thing is that we have the Revolt and we also have the Kirin, which can end up destroying the Ponix. We had the Garunix in graveyard now because the Revolt activated, and then from here you can get your rank 8 access like this, along with the follow-up that you get from the Tri-Brigade cards. So now I'm going to get you onto the test hands because there wasn't really too many combos that I wanted to show, and I think playing with 5 cards is more important in how this deck plays, just because of the style of combos there are between putting cards back into the hand, pitching cards off of stuff like Keras. We're going to start here by activating the Dia Bellstar, special summoning the Dia Bellstar, not activating, but Chainlink 1 will use the Nerval, Chainlink 2 will use the Dia Bellstar, and this is essentially a 3-card combo or a 3.5 card combo because you need any other card in order to put back into the deck. The ability to pitch the Arvada for the Keras is kind of cool if you do want to go that route, but we're going to use the effect of Ponix in order to get ourselves the Sanctuary, activate the Sanctuary, which will get us the Fire King Island, then use the effect of Fire King Island getting ourselves the Garunix. We'll use the effect of Garunix in order to special summon it, and then use its effect on field destroying the Barongas. We'll now use the Keras pitching the Arvada, and now we can use the effect of Keras, and this will give us the ability to go into our Bearbrum, as we'll then be able to go into our Rugal, use the effect of Bearbrum. We'll put back the Talons in this case, since you want to keep the Ash for your opponent's turn if you're lucky enough to be able to do so, and we'll be able to end our turn on this, as we do have the effects of Barong and the Ponix in the graveyard that will go off during the next standby phase to give you that rank 8 access. Now for the final hand, before I get you onto the deck profile, and this is a glimpse that you can get into this deck and some of the crazy hands that you can get in this deck in general. During the draw phase, we'll be able to use the Wanted. We'll add ourselves the Dia Bellstar, as we'll be able to then go to the main phase where we're going to use the Dia Bellstar, pitching the hit and get its on-field effect so that we can get ourselves the Sinful Spoils along with the Tri-Brigade engine going, sending the Nerval. The Nerval can then add ourselves the Fractal, as we'll then be able to activate the original Sinful Spoils, get ourselves the Ponix. Now we can use the Ponix effect in order to get the Sanctuary. A lot of the same stuff here, and it's really repetitive again, but we'll be able to pitch the Garunix off of the Keras, as we'll then use the effect of the Fire King Island. You do want to use the effect of Keras first, special summoning it, just because you want to have the Garunix in the graveyard for the Fire King Island when you pop the Ponix so that you can special summon it back. And we also get Kirin access right off the bat, so you can technically go into a rank 8 play directly if you would like to, but we are also going to be able to destroy the Arvada into the deck because we already have access to everything we need, and this just gives us an extra extender, so you can bring back the Ponix, you can bring back Kit, it doesn't really matter, but we're going to use the effect of the Wanted now, and you do want to get the draw here, because if you happen to draw into the Revolt, then you may want to go into something like your Farragut, and if you don't draw the Revolt, then you go into your Bearbrum, but we're then going to be able to get that extra draw, use the effect of the Keras, we'll then be able to go into the Bearbrum, as we'll then go into our Appaloosa, we'll then be able to use the effect of Bearbrum, getting ourselves the Revolt, put back the extra card, and now we can end our turn on having the rank 8 access under the Appaloosa, as well as having the Revolt. So with all of the combos out of the way, this is the deck profile, and the deck profile is just a bunch of 2-ofs, as you'll see, where we have the 2 Tenki, the 2 Kit, the 2 Fractal, the 2 Nerval, and the 1 Keras, and you don't need any more than that. The Fire King stuff takes space, so it is important to work on your ratio so that you can have enough going second cards and stuff like that, because you also want to be able to play the Dia Bellstar stuff so that you can get access into your Ponix, which you see we're only actually playing 1, and I don't think that you need more than that in a deck like this where you aren't playing the pure variant, and just having that access to 1 that you can search off of 5 different ways via the original Sinful Spoils, your 3 copies of Dia Bellstar technically that can get you into the original, and then you even have the 1-for-1 which can special summon it out. There's just a lot of ways to get it, as well as the Sanctuary getting you into the island, and the island being able to pop something in order to search it, and then special summon it via its own effect. But then I would also like to talk about the 3 Kirins. This is something that I thought maybe could go to 2. I'm unsure about it. I just like how it also synergizes with stuff like Kit and even Fractal if you have to go there. But then I would also like to talk about the space for going second cards. 15 of them. I was only having 12 in the first builds that I was trying until I really started working down on the ratios, and that's where I started to cut things to 1, like Garunix. You'll see that the Arvada is at 1, Barong is at 1, just so that you don't have to use as much resources, make plays, and it only takes 1 brick in order to do so, which you really only have kind of 3 bricks in the deck, which are the Barong, the Quick Play, and the Revolt, which can all become live pretty easily as well. While the Quick Play only takes you needing a Fire King, and you are playing a Tri-Brigade deck, so if you're not going to have anything in the graveyard for Revolt, you were just kind of unlucky. That said, I also would like to talk about Shifter, and you'll see that it's the only card I have here on the side. Of course, there are other counters that can hurt this deck, but the biggest one is Shifter, just because so much of your deck revolves around the graveyard between the Tri-Brigade effects. You also have the Fire King stuff that needs to hit the graveyard after it's destroyed for you to get those effects during the standby phase. Garunix, of course, not being able to special summon itself from the graveyard if you need to would be pretty terrible for the deck. Outside of that, I think the last thing I would like to touch up on before I go into the extra deck is the 2 copies of Tenki with the 1/1-for-1, and this is just 3 consistency cards. I didn't want to max out on the Tenkis because I wanted to keep the deck at 40, just in order to make those going second cards something that I actually see consistently. While this deck only really needs 2 to 3 cards of its own engines in order to really pop off, so 1/1 essentially becomes another Tenki because it's just another starter, and in some hands you'll even be able to bring out the Nerval, and the Nerval gets linked away or whatever, and you end up getting the ad off of that. So yeah, I just think that the 2 Tenki and the 1/1-for-1 is perfectly fine. Then I also would like to talk about all the 1-ofs, which can be kind of scary, especially when playing against stuff that may banish things from your deck, which I know that Runic isn't really around like that right now, but it's still a problem that this deck can have, where you probably see there's nearly 10 1-ofs in this deck. Touch up on the extra deck, where I would like to play Link Kuriboh at one point maybe, just because there are times where you may special summon out the Nerval, and not having access into the Link Kuriboh can turn your hands into bricks, but at the same time it just doesn't happen enough, even though you're technically playing 3 copies of Nerval here. With that said, I'll just take you onto the card by card, and we have the 1/1-for-1, the 2 Tenki, the 3 Kirins, the 1 Garunix, the 1 Arvada, the 1 Barong, the 1 Island, the 1 Sanctuary, Fire King Sacred Immolation, the 1 Revolt, the 1 Diabellstar, the 1 Karas, the 2 Kits, the 2 Fractals, the 2 Nervals, and the Ponix. We then have the original Sinful Spoils with the 2 Wanted, the 2 Talents, and the Thrust. We then have the 3 copies of Imperm, the 3 copies of Droll, the 3 copies of Ash, and the 3 copies of Nibiru. These going second cards can be whatever you want to play, and as the format evolves and stuff like that, you may not want to keep these going second cards. I'll continue to reiterate that in every video from now on. We're then going to go onto the extra deck, where we have the 1 copy of Almirage, the 1 copy of Scareclaw Lightheart, SP Little Knight, Masquerena, the Ancient Warrior Link 2, then we have the Farajid, the Bearbrum, Rugal, Doom Eagle, the 2 copies of Omen, Appaloosa, Access Code, Eternity Garunix, and Typhon to round out the deck profile. So for everyone who's made it this far, I'd like to thank you for watching and for the 600 plus subs. I truly appreciate your support. Now that we've monetized the channel, giving us access to supers and memberships means that more awesome stuff is on the horizon. To get the channel membership, just click on the description below, and there will be a link that takes you there. You'll also notice a free Discord link that I've made for us too. If you want to support me as a content creator, even if you can't donate supers or get a membership for the channel, clicking on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons help a lot too. For those wondering, I do plan on making updates to the channel as the support on the channel grows. Anyways, I hope to see you on the next one. It's Bones, signing out.